So we'll look at 6D, and 6D is finding the equation of line that passes through 2 points. So to do this problem, we want to find the y equals mx plus b. So we want to find the m, the slope, and we also need to figure out the b. So these are the two parts of the equation that we need to find out given those two coordinates. Now, given those two coordinates, if I just sketch a quick graph here, what does it look like? Negative 5, 88, okay, so way up here, 7, negative 8, maybe somewhere about here, and we have a straight line that passes through those points. Okay, so we need to find slope and y-intercept of that line. Well, we're always going to start with slope. We're going to have our slope triangle here, and using that slope triangle, we're going to work out the slope value. So we need to first find out the change in y. The change in y is going to be the difference between those 2 points. I'm going to do negative 8 minus 88, and that gives me negative 96. So what that means is, from left to right, I've gone down 96. Then I need to figure out the change in x. Okay, the change in x is going to be based on these 2 points. So the change in x, since I started with negative 8 to find the difference in y, I need to start with a 7. Now I'm going to do 7 minus negative 5, and that's going to give me positive 12 as my run. Okay, so from left to right, I've gone to the right plus 12. This allows me to calculate my slope value. So I end up with negative 96 divided by positive 12, and that gives me a slope value of negative 8 to 1. Okay, or we can just write it as negative 8. So now I've got one part of this equation. Okay, so that's my start. I need to get one part of it, and I've now got to the point where I can replace the m with negative 8 x plus, I still don't know b, so I'm just going to leave that as b. So how do I go about solving for b? Well, b is going to be that coordinate there where it crosses the x-axis, so the y-axis. I can kind of try skip counting using my slope to get there. That is an inefficient way to do it, okay, but it does work at times. I'm going to find b differently, and I'm going to use the property that every single x and y coordinate, these xy pairs, must be able to fit into the xy equation. They have to. Now, I could use that xy pair, I can use this xy pair, it doesn't matter. They both must fit into the equation. So arbitrarily, I'm just going to pick the first one. So I'm going to plug in the xy pair. So that's going to be 88 for y is equal to negative 8. My x value is going to be the negative 5 that pairs with the 88. They have to go together. Plus the b value. Now, in doing this, I have now generated an equation which only has one variable. And I can solve this equation. So I get 88 is equal to positive 40 plus b. And I can see that b is going to be 48. Okay, so b being 48, looking at that diagram, it looks like that's an appropriate b for this problem. So I'm going to subtract 40 from both sides. I get b is equal to 48. Yeah, that looks like it should be about at 48. My diagram's not particularly accurate, but it's reasonable. So now I have both parts of the equation I need. Y equals slope and y-intercept. So I found the equation of a line. So again, the steps for this are, first of all, recognize that we need y equals mx plus b. I need to calculate my slope, which I've done here. Once I've done that, I plug in the values of x and y to solve for b, and that gives me my final solution of both the slope -8 and the y-intercept 48, and I can put it into my linear equation form of y equals mx